no rush. It's fine.
Welcome to the Church of Mabus radio show. It's Friday night, and we got Carol Day here with us tonight. So is it you go by? It's Carol for the book, Carol Day.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, and I see Carrie Day. That's why I just saw that. So I'm sure either or, right?
Either
Mine's
or. Yeah.
Jeff for Jeffrey. But shamanic dreaming, connecting with your inner visionary. And everybody, you're listening to United Public Radio, 107.7 FM, New Orleans. So what got you on the path? What was the catalyst of your spirituality and shamanism? What was the start?
The start was like just a fascination with creative energy, really, from being an artist, Jeffrey. And yeah, so just that inquiring mind, like how does it all work? And from working with art, just noticing how when I was creating things, almost they'd come out later in the advertising spheres as well. So just this sense of tuning into something. And then my grandmother died when I was 27, 28, and I just had an incredible opening at her death, and I had a real experience with the flowers on her coffin when I went through to the other realms. And then after that, I had a big kind of loss of energy for 17 years, and just had to kind of went into a dark space and had to find my way back to the everyday realms again. So yeah, from that point, really, I was more in spirit than in this world. So
your grandmother's death caused an awakening of sorts, and that's what I find shamanic deaths very interesting, and that's kind of what led me to doing the show when I was younger. I've told this story so much, even I'm tired of it now, but in books and on the show. But at 17, I had testicular cancer and had to go through chemo, and that was at 17. And then I went through it all and healed and everything. And then my dad died a few years later, and I started to have very weird experiences with seeing beings of light with my naked eye, completely sober. Of course, I've seen them when I was partying as well or something. I don't do that as much anymore because I'm older. But this is in my early 20s, and that was at 17. So up to 20, my dad had passed, and I started to see UFO stuff over every house I lived at. Beings of light, which I know shamanism call them luminous beings of light. I saw 2 beings of light leave my house as if they'd been in it and come through the roof and went into the heavens, completely sober, not even on nicotine or anything. And it was like they were in the house on a lake here in Florida, and they were just left out the roof and flew into the heavens, and I saw it. And I think that shamanic death and all that pain of going through chemo, it was testicular cancer. I lost one in the war, TMI, I know, but that's a lot of stuff that causes pain. And then your dad dies. Somehow all that opened my senses, and it led to doing this show. And this was Jay said 16. I've lost count now. But it's just interesting. Death does that, it stuns our senses.
It certainly does. Yeah. I really see grief as an opener. Yeah.
That's a positive besides the grief, for sure. But so in a lot of your walk with shamanism, have you had what you would call paranormal stuff or spiritual encounters? I mean, I know you talk about the fae and weather spirits, but is there any particular ones you'd like to share with us or anything?
Yeah, I guess I mean, everything's alive, isn't it? And everything communicates. And I think what you were talking about there about the senses kind of opening up and being able to come out of that conditioned kind of way of seeing things. I kind of feel it has been almost an extra sensory way of being, which is our natural way of being, really. And then we've had it closed down. It's not talked about. And then these experiences open it up again. But yeah, I think I've had lots of experiences with nature and just a sense of just trees really communicating, or nettle. I had an experience one night when the spirit of nettle just really came into the room. Different plant spirits. Obviously, my opening was with plants originally, with the carnations and the roses on my grandmother's coffin. And then in terms of being, yeah, I've had experiences where this film of reality is just broken down, and I've encountered beings around me that aren't normally seen with the everyday eye. Yeah, lots of different things. And then with the fae, I think that's, again, it's just from just listening and just sensing. Normally, I don't see things with my everyday eye. With these beings, when reality kind of melted almost in a filmic way, I did see that with my naked eye, and sometimes I do. But quite often, it's almost like I'm traveling with a sense of another reality that's here in my third eye, and I'm communicating with it, but I'm staying very much in this realm, which I prefer because it doesn't challenge the ego as much. But sometimes, yeah, things break down.
I have a theory with weather spirits. If you tell them you're grateful when storms and stuff are happening, that maybe they'll skip over you with the destruction element of those. Like, I'm grateful. Thank you for the rain. We appreciate it. Please don't strike my house with lightning, or whatever. A terrible tornado or something. So far, so good. So,
Well,
what do you think about the fairy? I mean, a lot of people have tried to tie them in with UFOs and stuff, and that, like the fairy mark and being abducted and stuff. Like, there's some weird parallels with it. But what do you think about it? Are they just strictly nature about the fairy?
yeah, I mean, there's such a connection, isn't there, between the stars and nature, star beings and nature. And maybe those are what you call more the UFO kind of experiences.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's I see it all as being dimensions, and when I ask my guides about it, 6-dimensional energy or 5th-dimensional energy, and then started to travel into that. And yeah, I have guides that are star beings, which I wonder if that's what you're talking about with the UFO idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, the frequencies that you can open up to and tune into, and certainly sometimes they seem like the same frequency. Yeah.
And what about your guides? You consider them star beings, and do they have names or say where they're from or anything like that?
Yeah, I did. There's Jay. Hi.
There's Jay.
Hello.
As long as my camera doesn't freeze up, yeah, we're good.
Oh, fingers crossed. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, if you can tell us more about your spirit guides and their star beings.
Yeah, they are, but I don't really talk about them very much. But yeah, I've got connections with Palladian and also Sirius guides. Yeah.
Have you ever had any UFO stuff happen from that kind of communications, or seen something in the sky that was extraordinary?
All the time through my childhood, yeah. They were always things in the sky. My parents were always spotting them, and I was out there. Yeah.
I see Sandra Ingram and Rocher Ford. I've interviewed her before. It's been a while, but yeah, I've had her on the show a long time ago. Definitely, that's a good Ford for sure. A good score.
Oh, she's lovely. Yeah, she's one of my teachers and a friend as well. Oh, that's great. She's been on the show too.
Yes. Who's some of your other teachers that you've grown up with that helped you with shamanism and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, originally I went up to Findhorn. Do you know Findhorn? Found in the north of Scotland. It's a spiritual community, and they have lots of different people that go there and study, different teachers, different visitors coming in with conferences and things. So I had I studied astro shamanism originally with someone called Franco Santoro, and then I moved across to Lendrick Lodge, a teacher called Stephen Mulhern. But really, lots of different teachers through different spiritual traditions. Nat Han is one of my favorites. Yeah, and counseling as well. So I did a lot of counseling training and just yeah, my way is really that if we're really present and in the senses, then we can open up to things. So I'm more of a kind of person that helps people to just be in the moment and open up and learn to feel how everything's communicating.
And the person you just mentioned, he's a Buddhist, right? And he passed away not too long ago.
Yeah,
I've read some of his books. I have trouble saying his name, but say it again.
Nat Han.
Nat Han.
Yeah.
He is definitely like a legend kind of thing with spirituality, and I know he passed away. I had Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God, on the show before. That was really good. That's some people. James Redfield, those Celestine prophecies. But as far as some other shamanism, was it Jose Stevens, Secrets of Shamanism. I've had Serge Kahali King on. He's like Hawaiian shamanism. I've had Evelyn Riesdyk about Norse shamanism. Yeah, we've had her on a few times about the Norse and the normal shamanism. And then there's the Viking shamanism. Got her on. I love the subject. You can learn a lot from it, and there's something to it. And I hope when we do shows about it, somehow it helps the earth or helps people or something, helps somehow.
Yeah.
Just talking about it.
You've talked to a lot of people.
It's been a long journey. For sure. Well, let's see if Jay has any questions. You got anything, Jay, for shamanism?
Well, maybe something just real quick, interesting. I don't know if anyone's heard of this. It was on one of the shows I was watching, and so I picked one up, and I don't know if you can tell me about it. I don't know much about it. It's a green stone from like Czechoslovakia. I guess Czechoslovakia, maybe Ukraine. I don't know. They call it Moldavite, and it was supposedly it does something like it helps intensify your mental capacity or your thoughts. And it's really cool. It's like a green glass that's like an artifact from like a meteor hitting the ground. So I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but it's a really cool necklace and a nice little piece of stone.
What is
so if anyone knows about it, let me know what you think.
I've heard of it, but I don't know much about it. But I mean, I believe in shamanism, stones and crystals have properties and things like that for sure. Is that something you get into a lot, Carol, with the stones and their properties, crystals and things?
I love stones. Absolutely adore stones. And there's a stone. You can feel them and communicate with them as a stone people, can't you? I think gems definitely kind of open up different gateways, and the whole kind of crystal layers and the gnomes that work with the crystals. Yeah. So, and I mean, if you spend enough time tuning in, you can start to feel people and the land that they've lived on, and what, sandstone is very, very much mine from being brought up in a place called Yorkshire, where most of the houses that I lived in were built of sandstone as well. So yeah, everything has a vibration, basically, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the one thing that I still don't quite understand. I mean, I kind of get it, but I find it hard to grasp that the thing that something else vibrates at just like a minute frequency higher than us, and it could be standing right here, and I can't see it or touch it, but it can see me, can't touch me, and it's kind of freaky. I can't quite fathom that that concept, but I do think there's something to it for sure.
Yeah, I think it's just listening, isn't it, and practicing, and then you really open it up. And I guess what Jeffrey was talking about earlier about these spontaneous openings that happen, And once those happen, then you kind of, you're on that wavelength, aren't you, of being able to tune into things like that even more. Yeah, it's just a way of, I mean, that's what I try and do in the book, Shamanic Dreaming, is just really really help people to slow down, come into the moment, and give formulas and things and different practices to be able to open up and listen and see what happens, go on a journey to discover and uncover.
Yeah, I haven't been able to really focus that, but I have on, and I'm not positive on it, but I'm fairly certain that I've at least felt either soul energy or, you know, dead people being, you know, like the kid says, I see dead people. I think I've kind of felt their presence before. And at one time I was actually scratched, and I don't remember where I was, but I got home and there was like 3 fingernail scratches across one of my sides, left or right. I don't remember, but I don't remember anyone going, because I had clothes on. I was at a party, I was drinking beers and having fun, and then I get home, I'm like, where in the hell did that come from? But you can't. That's the one problem I have with like the spirit world, is we can't quantify. Like our world, you can take it happen, but with the spirit world, you can either see it in your mind's eye if you're special enough, but you can't go here, look. And I hope one day we can do that.
I guess we will be able to. You were talking about
Is your light go out, Jay?
The main light is blinking.
That's because they're there.
Someone's listening.
There.
I promise, not a smart light. My cell phone's off. I'm not doing anything.
It's because, well, I mean, you've had a lot of loss in your life. We both have.
Yeah.
People that have. You lost a lot. You know, they could be there trying to tell you they're okay. I don't know if that was them, but did you get to see We Have a Ghost yet on Netflix? That comedy movie. It's pretty funny.
I haven't.
If you get a chance, if you want a comedy, it's called We Have a Ghost. It's got that David Harbour guy from Stranger Things in it, and he's the ghost. But it's funny. It's a comedy, but it's good. But that light been changed recently, or is
it came with the house? I mean, I just dimmed it.
Is that it blinking? Is that it blinking?
Yeah.
They're saying you better believe, brother trucker. We're here. Ghosts are here. I don't know what it is, but it's funny. I see the weird hologram on your wall. That's from whatever.
If we had some of the Ghostbusters technology, I could go, yeah, there's something there, but I don't have that.
For sure. So dimensions, and you get into so many different things. What is something from your book that you would like to share with us that you think our audience would enjoy, or want to maybe something we haven't spoke about yet?
So the second half of the book's called Loop. The first part's calling, and it's mainly working with just listening to the self, your own calling, being in the present, and then the calling in everything. So that the idea is that if we listen to everything, I've lost Jay, then everything can come back into balance again. And then the second part of the book is really about the loop of time, the time continuum, and working through practices, working with the future ones, and also the ancestors, and then the ones in the present time. So yeah, the reason why the book's called Shamanic Dreaming, Connecting with Your Inner Visionary, is really around just this idea that, you know, whatever we do in the present affects the future, and just starting to think about times maybe not being so consciously going forward to the future, but that the future is guiding us almost. So I open up practices working with portals on the earth to journey to the future ones and to the ancestors, and there's some healing work that you can do as well.
Anything else you'd like to ask, Jay? She's only here for the end of the hour, so I want to give everybody time to ask. But if you got anything else,
I don't at the moment. I was trying to get the book on Amazon. I didn't get it in the mail from the publishers yet,
Like the
which is a
PDF
shame. I saw the
though,
cover;
yeah.
it looks nice. But
You got the PDF.
I was
I sent the
questions
PDF
in
for
there.
that.
Huh?
I have the physical
Did you
copy.
send
It's
me?
very good, and I have a PDF. I thought I sent you the PDF, but
The
maybe in
last
your
one you sent me was the Wallace guy.
yeah. Well, if you go on Amazon and you open up the book, you can look at the table of contents.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about Amazon is that you can get good previews of books and you decide whether or not you want to go forward with it.
And it's a very good shamanism book, and definitely highly recommend it. And where's the best place to get it? Is it Amazon?
Yeah, you can go through Simon and Schuster, who they distribute, don't they? And they list kind of different bookshops in the US or in the UK as well. If you're going through the UK websites or the European websites, but yeah, not everybody's into Amazon, are they? So I just like to give people different options. But it's in some bookshops as well. It's published by Finton Press, who were connected with a part of one of the imprints of Inner Traditions.
The symbol on the front of the cover that's the one that's going this way. Is that a representation of a squid? I don't know if you talked about it at the beginning or not, but it looks to me like it's a squid.
The cover, or
the one at the bottom that it's kind of like a set of waves that go along the bottom of the cover.
The publisher they chose that, but you're right. I think it's kind of like just that idea of time going in and out, but it doesn't quite squid-like. Yeah, quite like squid.
Yeah, so I was like, wow, that's cool. It's like a Celtic squid, but I'm not sure the Celts knew about
Let's
squid.
call it Celtic squid. Yeah, like
Spirals and webs. And Jay, it is in your Facebook inbox. You just got to scroll up some. It's there. But so shamanic dreaming is do you do lucid dreaming? When you dream, do you become aware of it? Is that what you mean by shamanic dreaming? I don't know. I hardly never remember anything or have weird nightmares, and I just act like those are free haunted houses that you get to go in for free, so I try to enjoy those. But as far as what do you mean by shamanic dreaming? Is it lucid dreaming, or is there a difference? What can you tell us about that?
So with shamanic dreaming, the idea with that for the title, the publisher chose the title for it, but it's about just that practice, the visionary practice of journeying and communicating through times and with all of nature and the difference. Then we're going into a dream. And it's also the idea that we are a dream, with the dreams of the ancestors, and then the dreams of the future ones. We're working with dreaming the future into being as well. So dreaming can be awake, and it can also, consciously be awake, and we can go into that dreaming space. I talk about how the brain, the wavelengths of the brain change when we go into that shamanic space. When there's drumming or rattling, they slow down, so we go into the alpha wavelength from the beta to the alpha wavelength of nature, and then to the theta, and then the delta wavelengths that are there in the dream time, and then the fetus in the womb. We're really in that dreaming space then, so we're going into that deeper space. So yeah, the shamanic dreaming is basically going into the dream and working with traveling through time and through different dimensions to kind of have a conversation and affect reality, really. When you're talking about the lucid dreaming, I'm a kind of sporadic dreamer, maybe a bit like you, Jeffrey. I don't tend to remember my dreams all the time. Certain times I'll really be in the dreaming, and sometimes I'll be woken from dreams, and it was my guide speaking to me that brought the visionary work out in real time, as I exited a dream where I was actually in the future and could remember that one. So the dreams that I have when I'm asleep, then sometimes they really inform the work that I do. But I think just because we're going to there in the sleep time and we're there 8 hours a day, if we're lucky, we can go into that space at any time if we train ourselves, if we go into nature or go into those more trance states, or have music or drumming to kind of slow us down. So yeah, it's a place of power, sure.
Well, I've also found that I can lucid dream. I can also program the dreams. Like before I go to bed, if I like, say, just out for an example, I want to dream that I'm Spider-Man in the dream. I can program it and say, I'm gonna be Spider-Man. I'll fight this bad guy and this bad guy and that bad guy and whatever. And I don't necessarily always remember that, but I have actually. And now there's a movie that actually explores this possibility, where they try to make dream assassins, and they take these psychics and teach them how to enter other people's dreams and kill them in their dreams, because the old wives say, oh, if you die in your dream, you die in real life. So they were trying to make, like super spy brain assassins that can kill you from like across the street. So anyway, my friend and I had the exact same dream in high school, long time ago. I mean, we're talking 30, 40 years. So in the dream, we're being chased. He and I are running from mobsters or a gang. In my dream, it's a gang. In his dream, it's like mafia. In my dream, we get to the woods outside of the city, and then they shoot him to death. As I turn around, I see my best friend shot to death, and then I look, and there's a cliff, and whoosh, off. I hit the ground. I wake up in like a sweat. He had the exact same dream, but in his dream, it was the mafia, Italian mafia chasing us. When we get to the woods, they shoot me to death. He's turning around. And when he turns back, there's a cliff. He falls off. He wakes up in a cold sweat. And it's like Friday, Saturday. The very next Monday at school, we're like, hey, I had this dream. And I'm like, wait, what? So I don't know if that's possible, if people can actually do that, but we did it. So, I mean, yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That was we were both shocked by that.
Yeah, Jay, I had a similar experience with my friend when I used to live in Birmingham, and I shared a house with one of my really good friends, Emma, and we had a dream one night, and she was in my dream, and I was throwing pebbles into this pond to wake her up, and she had the same dream that I was there and something was happening, and I came in and opened something. So yeah, it does happen, doesn't it? And you don't expect it. It might happen more than we know. A lot more than we know.
It must. I mean, but he and I, we live like several miles away. I mean, it's probably, if I can remember correctly, that we were at least 15 miles apart. I mean, we went to the same school, but our neighborhoods were 15 miles apart. I couldn't safely ride to it on my bike when I was a kid. So that's how far it was, but an amazing thing. So would someone benefit from this book being able to do that, or like either connect with someone else's dreams or program their own to work out problems?
Yeah, there's a chapter in the loop part. I talk about how, the another word for visionary or shamanic or a shaman is the dreamer, the one who works with the dreams. And there's making a hoop to catch the dreams as well, and consciously working with the dreams. So that is a part of it. Yeah, dreams are a major way of accessing and opening up, aren't they?
So you make another good point that I just came to mind. That you said, like, you make a loop. There's like, I don't know if you're talking about like a dream catchers or not, but what do they do? I've heard different stories that some they capture evil dreams or bad dreams and take them out of your brain or push good ones in. I'm not sure exactly which way it is, but do you know anything about those?
I don't, because then they're not that's not the tradition that I work with. But I believe they do something like that. In the book, it's just holding the intention that it's like a portal for the dreams with how I work with them. But yeah, I think there's something around the protection, isn't there, that the dream catchers bring in the traditions that work.
They're also around like a portal. So they have this weave of, I don't know if it's leather or fabric, but this like it's like a spider web inside with like different feathers and charms and stuff. They're very cool, but I don't know that they have any benefit. I've never tried one.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
And where was that place in Scotland where they meet, the spiritual place?
Findhorn Foundation. So it's Findhorn Press that published the book. So Eileen and Peter Caddy. Do you know the story of Findhorn? So basically they met, and then they were in Glastonbury, and Eileen started to get messages in the church and around this community, and she was meditating. So they moved up north and lived in caravans and on this campsite, and then she just kept getting lots and lots of messages from God. And it's a book that's written all about the journey of Findhorn setting up. There's two actually, one written by Eileen and another written through Peter Caddy's story. And it's just amazing. Like they'd get messages about what to do, and then exactly all the right things would turn up. So it's a real a community that's just founded on just following guidance really as well. And there's UFO experiences in that as well, in the story there, when they were on the top of one of the mounds there, just getting communication as well.
So your English in Scotland, does that, when you're around people that talk Scottish, does it start to rub off on you? I could be at a Mexican restaurant and I'll accidentally talk like the Mexican guy giving me dinner or whatever by accident.
Well, if anybody who's listening to me in Scotland, obviously after 27 years here, I've still got a Yorkshire accent. My two children are Scottish, so born in Scotland. So, but yeah, definitely. I don't know. It's like in the States, if you move to a different part of the States, kind of you have affinity with land, don't you, in different places, and the land in Scotland just
really tough. Yeah, accents, really tough ones over here.
Some tough ones. How about you, Jay? Where are you?
I'm in Pennsylvania, right in the middle of the East Coast, just about. Yeah, about an hour from the Washington D.C.
So
how did you two know one another?
We were friends on Facebook, and then I'm going on my 9th year, but 8 years ago he was looking for another co-host, and he interviewed me and one other person, and he picked us both.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm. So he's been doing the show like 14 or 15 years. I've only been here 8, and then Wham is the other co-host. She does 3 shows, I do 3, and we flip-flop back and forth.
That's commitment. Excellent. Mm-hmm. So what kind of experiences, I'm going to start interviewing you now, what kind of experiences have you had, Jay, that have opened you up to being curious about all of this?
Well, I mean, it wasn't any experiences at first. When I was 6 or 7, we had a Hurricane Agnes came across the East Coast and just like wiped out everything from like North Carolina to Boston. And so we didn't have power for like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 2. But we had a pool in our basement, which was unique and fun. Even though it smelled like sewer water, my brother and I were swimming in like basically my parents' book collection. But they were managed to save some of them. And one of the books that my dad saved was Eric von Daniken's Chariots of the Gods. I saw that and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then from about age 10, 11, from then I've been researching almost everything UFO. So, but I've seen Bigfoot. I know he exists. I have seen several UFOs. One actually, a UFO saved my life from getting bit by a snake, which was nice. That was the first one. And then I'm not quite certain. There's a possibility that I probably have been abducted too, but I don't know for sure. It's kind of one of those questions that, do I want to know yes? Do I want to know no? Yes or no? I don't know.
Yeah. So. I was actually thinking about your question you asked earlier, Jeffrey, about the UFO experiences, and I've just remembered when I was, again, it was in my 20s. It must have been around, late 20s in that same time as everything was opening up. I had a dream one night, and it was about 2 stars, and I just went to these 2 stars, and then lots of things were happening, but they were so fast that I couldn't really capture it all. And then I just remember waking up, bolt upright, and my skin was all clammy and wet and cold. I felt like I'd been outdoors. And I was in the staff room at that time. I was teaching in a primary school in Birmingham, and I was telling my friend Marsha, you know, this happened to me last night. Do you think I was up? And I said, I'm pretty sure I was. You know, it was like I'd been outside. And she said, oh, you can't have been abducted, kind of just tongue in cheek, because you know, you'd have a mark on your body. She had this. I don't know if you have these stories and theories about it as well. So I started looking on my body, and then I found a round circle in my skin. And so we were just like, it was just white, a round circle. So we were just like, oh my goodness, that wasn't there before. So yeah, that's my story.
That's pretty weird. I know they talk about I've wondered if I've been taken. If so, I don't remember a damn thing. They mind wipe me, but I've seen weird stuff and seen weird beings. The light beings, I've seen weird little hooded beings in the woods standing around a black box with a friend. A cat jumped towards them and they vanished. And at that time, I had been reading stuff about the Celtic other world and fairies and stuff. Mm-hmm. These were little like Jawas, but skinny, from Star Wars. They weren't fat like the Jawas, but they looked skinny and you couldn't see their faces. But that's pretty big for you to have experience and find a circle or mark on your body. Isn't there things like that with fairy lore too? Like the mark, they leave a mark in folklore and stuff with fairy stuff. Oh, there goes Jay. I guess the ghost got him.
The fairies have got him this time.
Yeah, the fairies got him this time. That's right. But that's pretty significant to have a mark on you after that kind of thing. Definitely creepy.
Yeah, or maybe just confirming. I don't know. With fairy, yeah, I don't know. I have just such a natural relationship with fairy, and I just feel them, sense them, and I don't know. They don't.
I believe
I've never had any marks on me. I just know they're there, and
yeah,
they kind of are there in my third eye all the time. Yeah.
Oh, I definitely believe they're there. I've had an experience when I went outside and saw these weird lights in trees, and I thought there was like Christmas lights, but there were no Christmas lights. Mm-hmm. And it was something weird, different. Mm-hmm. That may have been fairy, like these weird lights. So in Scotland, do they bring up fairies and stuff, their folklore a lot and things like that? Have you learned
Fae
a lot
folk,
about that?
I think would be a better name, yeah?
The what? The Fae?
Fae folk.
The Fae folk.
F-A-E, folk.
Is that prevalent in Scotland? Is that something they?
Well, the She. They're known as the She in Scotland. So there's a mountain in Scotland. I don't know if you've heard of it, called Schiehallion, which is the mountain of the fairy mountain. And it's like the headquarters for all the fairy folks. So you can climb this mountain. It's very conic, and there's lots of legends, and there's story. You know, there's an opening there to the fairy worlds as well, and there's special in the law. There's special things that you have to say and do before you know, if you come across this opening to the fairy world, and then there's passages through to the ancestors. But there's countless sites that are the Shiites here. There's an island called Arran, which is close to Glasgow, just off the coast. There's lots of fairy places there. Yeah, here where I am now, I used to work here on the land in Falkland. Well, I'm working here still, but I used to work here a lot more. And we had firewalks at Beltane time, so quite often we'd go into groups and connect with the different fairy folk, because it's a big kind of time, isn't it, for nature opening and the fairy coming out at this time of year, and at the Beltane time of year. But yeah, there's lots of lore, and there's lots of places with names, and one of the books I've written is all about the mountain sites and working with the fairy as well. Yeah.
And I know you have one section, animals and archetypal support systems. What can you tell us about that section, and what do you mean? I know what you mean by animals, but archetypal support systems.
So, a lot of people who work in a shamanic way or a visionary way, or the seer, as it's known here in Scotland as well, talk about guides or spirits or spirit guides, I kind of feel the animal guides as being like archetypes, as being codes that are from the archetypal and that they weave through us. So when I'm talking about the animals and the archetypal support systems, I'm talking about all the deities and the animals connected to those, give people ideas of how they are in different traditions. So, for example, Horus would be the hawk in the Egyptian, and then you'd have Anubis, who would be the jackal. There's always the animal, and we've got the Carlac here in Scotland as one of the main ancient goddesses, and she's really connected with the heron or the different birds and the wolves and the deer. So you start to tap into these archetypes that are in the realms behind this one, in the planes behind this one. But I like to call them archetypes because I feel that we as humans, it's almost like threads, and it's working through us all the time. And like to get people to get to know, what archetypes are the familiars for each of us, or ones that are closest to us and are our natural expressions. So yeah, that's just a way of connecting to the spirits, really, through the animal archetypes.
And do you get into shape shifting and stuff like that? I know a lot of tribal people try to, take on the embodiments of the animal. And I know there's a lot of oracles and books that talk about the medicine ways of animals and different traits and qualities. Those are always interesting. I have some of those weird oracles and stuff, cards and things like that. So that gets interesting. I think there's some to that. One of my favorites is coyote.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, my way in is not to study shamanism. It's really to see that children play like this all the time. I call it innate ways. We're naturally like this. Humans have got an ability to shapeshift all the time. That's how children play. That's how we have empathy. So I come into the subject more from a kind of who are you and how do you feel, and what is our role as humans? We're the only species that has this ability to really blend, merge, and sense and open up to things. And it's a gift, and we do it unconsciously a lot of the time, and then lose ourselves. So it's kind of a conscious way of working with the gifts that we have as shapeshifters, as kind of people that can merge and can really, we can come across a stone, as you were talking about earlier, and as you were bringing out your beautiful green stone as well, Jay. And we can actually come close to that and merge with it and have that experience of being it. We have that ability. But I think, for me, I always cite it as something that we're born with. I've worked with children for years and really studied how they play and how they work with the archetypes and everything. And I think we just need to carry on playing consciously, really, and see that we're co-creators, and we're working with the whole of the planet and beyond, aren't we? And we've got these amazing abilities.
Yeah, they say we use no more than 10 to 12% of our brain, and then somehow some scientists seem to think that something is like turned off, like there's a part of our brain that's like we're not really supposed to access. But there are documentations of people who are setting fires with their mind, moving objects with their mind, talking to other people mind to mind, and then like even certain spy agencies, both in Russia and America, used remote seers to glean information, and not only the information, but sometimes like the actual layout and floor plans of buildings they were going to like get their guys in and out of. So this stuff's documented, but the mainstream science is like, yeah, no, we don't want to touch that.
It's all there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's maybe some extreme limits, but I would not be surprised if we were able to access powers like full-on regeneration. Like you're working in a farm and a combine rips your arm off, and then 10 minutes later it's grown back already. I feel those kinds of abilities. But some of these guys like Cyclops in the X-Men, he's got like ray beams come out of his eyes, and the Thing who's made out of stone. There's some of those that but there's a lot of possibility out there of what we can do. Yeah.
Yeah, we're very limited, aren't we? But I think that's part of why you hold this show, isn't it? This program, and just keep on asking people questions and opening up to find out, how we can kind of more consciously change, to be a lot bigger than what we think we are.
Yeah, a lot of people fear change, though, so that's probably why it's taking so long.
That ego, eh? Me too. It just happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, there isn't really a lot we can do about change, particularly natural and biological change. But it seems that some people are afraid of it, and about the whole alien thing. If they were to be known right now, it would change the face of the earth, and maybe even violently in places. But what really astounds me about the whole alien question is that there's all these people on this planet. I'm not saying anything bad about religion, but there's all these people that believe in an invisible God of some sort in some form, and sometimes many gods that they believe in, the Egyptian gods and whatnot. They're immediately able to believe in this invisible being, but the instant you bring up the possibility that there's other life forms, like, oh, no way. They're absolutely almost violently against the idea, and it's just kind of scary. It's like, hey, someday it's going to happen. It is inevitable. It is mathematically impossible. We're alone. Deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, what can you do?
On that level of a secret, there isn't much, but there's a lot of information out there. Hopefully, we know the answers one day. But that's part of why we do the show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess my way in would be to just to journey into it, to just the book just teaches different ways to start to open up, like you were talking about the animal archetypes as well there, and then you mentioned some of the Egyptian gods, but just asking what comes through, where they're from, and then starting to create a map and believing in what the first answer that comes, and just starting this conversation, because educating the imagination, isn't it? I talk about imagination and the word coming from the root Marge, and Marge really being to be able, and this is what we're talking about here as well, isn't it? That all these abilities that we have, we've closed them down, and it's really, that's why I've been fascinated working with children and studying, working with young children, seeing how they play and seeing how we have closed that down. But just in the practice of journey and asking, just getting information about where the guides are from, and seeing that quite often they do come from certain star systems. And then some of us, like Jeffrey, who were lucky enough to have these experiences of regularly seeing, and I guess for myself with the fairy as well, just being able to speak and communicate with them easily. It doesn't mean that it can't happen for everybody, but I think it's having practices of where we can safely access this and just ask these questions, and shamanic journeying and going into that trance space and being able to open up and ask these questions is a really safe way and a beautiful way to start exploring it as well.
Yeah, there are several people that are documented as doing that kind of trance meditation, kind of. I don't necessarily say chanting, but channeling other information and getting it into either a book form or, in the case of Edgar Cayce, he was able to help people with their medical diagnoses fairly accurately. I mean, and in the time that he was doing it, medical accuracy was in probably the 75 to 80% range, where they were able to, save people from severe illness and injury. He was at 80, 85 just by using his brain. But I don't know that it was that easy, because after he was done doing any of those kinds of readings, he was out for 2 or 3 days. So, I mean, it took a lot out of him, but they gleaned a lot of information. I mean, there's, I don't remember the person's name, but some guy up in New York, or maybe it was a woman, dictated an entire book channeled from what I think was the Council of the Nine, and the book is called the Urantia book. And linguistic experts and people, years after she had passed and all the controversy went by, read her own personal writings and read this book, and they said there's no way she could have written this. It's not in any kind of, type of style of writing she would ever write in, because they had all this other, her lifetime's worth of work and people that knew her. So where does that come from? I mean, that's the most amazing thing. I mean, I actually got the Urantia book and tried to read it. I couldn't get through it. It was really strange to read. But how does that, I mean, how do you dictate a completely improvised Bible-like verse that's, the book is this thick? It's thicker than the Bible. I'd like to know where she got that from, really.
I guess you open a tap, don't you, and then let it pour through. I've had that experience with writing, and I wrote an article last week about this actually, and just writing things and throwing them in the waste paper basket, not liking them, and then taking, this is like years ago, emptying the waste paper basket and then finding that I've been writing the same passages over and over again, and then going, hang on a minute, who's actually writing this? It's almost like it's been scribed from somewhere. But that's why I love being an artist and just working with the shamanism as a word to describe the whole creative process. Actually, we're opening up something. We're channeling something. Everybody's got these different abilities, haven't they, of what they open, and it's a concentration. What you're saying there about, I love Edgar Casey, by the way. Thanks for bringing him in as well. About him and that exhaustion. It's real concentration, isn't it? And I've been teaching. I'm teaching a teacher training while I'm here, and we're talking about the depossession, curse unraveling work that we do as well, and just how that work is so. It really can take it out of you. It's so focused work. You're really listening to the spirits, and there's a lot of trauma that's there when a spirit welds with a human soul, and then you're working with different psychocomp beings and unravelers to allow that passage to happen and that separation to happen. But it's concentration, and it's practice like anything else, isn't it? Spontaneously things can suddenly open. We can find we don't have any choice but to go on this journey of working out how the map really is, because it's not what our conditioned mind expects it to be. But that's it's deep work, and it's a lot of focus, and I guess those states of emergency force us to focus, don't they?
Definitely, and I know we've had this subject on many times, and if you look throughout ancient cultures, the shaman or the medicine man or woman is the go-to person for healing and spirituality, and they usually are in the know when it comes to the people from the sky. It's in their ceremonies, it's in their dances, it's in their rituals, and it's ingrained in their, tribalism and their beliefs and their art. So that's who you go to. And I know they found some shamans that had some doobies buried on them, some weed, some pot. But hey, well, Carol, it's been great, and the book is Carol Day, Shamanic Dreaming, Connecting with Your Inner Visionary, and you can get it on Amazon by Feinhorn Press. There's the cover. We appreciate it so much. It's always a pleasure to talk about this subject, and thank you so much.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed it. You take care.
A website or anything that you want to give out? A link?
Yeah, www.creativeearthensemble.com is the website. So if anybody wants to get in contact, you can get on the contact page there.
CreativeEarthEnsemble.com. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
You as well. Bye.
Thanks. Nice to see you.
Bye. All righty. There we go. If you're listening to United Public Radio 107.7 FM New Orleans. And it's been a week of website apocalypse.
Yeah, I heard.
Wow. It's been insane. The website hadn't been updated in 5 years from PHP or WordPress. So it's a real nightmare. And then you get there. First off, Bobby Dizzle, who's been on the show from Bobby Dizzle Podcast, went into the site just to try to fix the newsletter. And we updated the WordPress, and then it messed something up. And then WordPress or whatever left a message saying if we don't update to PHP, that it'll stop working for that WordPress version. Ooh. So it was like basically walking into a bombed house that's triggered to explode. Ouch. For a guy that just came to do the newsletter. And so he's freaking out thinking it's his fault, which I told him it's not your fault. It would have happened regardless, no matter who went in there. And he's been helping to fix the front page. The front page got 8 somehow. But here's the real killer. All the updates have been reversed back to the old ones. So I'm guessing at some point you're going to have to redo the new ones. And is that going to cause the same issue? We'll have to try to back it up in case it does. It's just stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Real big pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just want to delete the website and stick the URL onto Joe's site or something, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. If we don't get it all fixed, I may do that to where it'll just go to the network news site when you put in Church of Mabus. And I'll quit paying for this crap, and they can kiss my arse. Overpriced BS. But if we can get it functional and update it, and it seems like it'll be okay, I guess I'll keep it, but I just get sick of it. And I want to thank everyone that has donated. We get some donations, nothing to get rich off of, but most of it goes to GoDaddy, if not all of it, just to pay all the crap for the website. So Wham has helped with that so many times I can't even keep up with it. And then we get some other donations from people, but it's definitely not over $500 or something. And then by the time you pay for GoDaddy, that's several hundred or more. God, it's like half of that for 6 months or something. I'm like, it's just stupid. Just nonstop crap.
Mm-hmm.
Jay's scoring us some Roku.
Yeah, we're going to start doing that on the April 7th. The first show will be with you and Wham. Woohoo. So we'll be live Roku starting in April. April 7th is the show.
I gotta make sure Don Webb don't say F on Roku.
Well, I wrote 4-1 underneath my name, but it's the beginning of the month is when we'll pay the dues.
You got 2 shows and she's got 2 shows in April. You got the second to the last show. She's got the second to the first.
It's a 2 and 2 April. Yep, 2 with Wham, 2 with me.
God, I need to write Rob and Trish McGregor. Did I yet? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I forget. But did your light come back on or it go out completely?
It stopped blinking. It's working. It's on. I mean, it's dimmed with the dimmer switch, but it's working. I don't know what happened. But, we were talking about ghosts and goblins, and boom, there was our answer.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's never done that before.
No.
That's
never.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very strange. I have these light apparitions and activities when we speak about ghosts. It's never happened before.
Nope.
Very
and this
strange.
is an LED. When they go bad, they typically will flash like that anyway. So, and it hasn't flashed since we stopped. So,
is it still flashing?
No, it's on. Just on.
It doesn't seem like it's on.
You see the.
Okay,
there's the proof right there.
It looks black in there and purple in the background. I would figure it'd be more lighted up.
Well, it's on a dimmer switch, so it's like half
brightness. Okay. But it's still the bulb's still okay, right?
It's not a bulb; it's LED. It's a little orange square up there that makes the light.
Oh, okay. Very strange. You need to get you a ghost box.
Yeah, I need to get something to test who's in here. My friends came over last Saturday. We played some board games, And he's like, do you know if anybody died in this house? I'm like, I don't know. It was built in 1920. He's like, yeah, somebody died in this house. So there may be a ghost. Who knows?
Yeah, built in 1920. Wow.
1920. It's 103 years old.
103 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
My house.
It's been around town.
Well, it's been in the same place in town, but there's been a lot of stuff happening around it.
Has there been like Amish orgies in it and stuff?
I don't know. We're close enough to Mennonite Amish country that may be, but they typically tend to build stick-built houses out of wood. They don't make brick and mortar, and they don't make them 4 stories tall.
Very nice. And do you know anything about the previous owners?
No, but I've considered going. I'll bet you there's a historical society or some sort of information at the library, which is like 2 blocks that way. I figure one day I'll just walk in, and at the very least, I want to see what this place looked like right after it was built, 1920, 1921. Maybe get some history on the town, but I haven't really looked into it yet, no.
1920s. There's somebody croaked in that house.
Oh, wow, yeah, 100%, yeah.
Did you get it at a reduced rate?
No, but I guarantee you I paid more for it than the person who first built it.
I'm sure. But you never know. There might be a ghost in that.
I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. But so far, I mean, nothing violent, nothing, no chains and, ooh, kind of stuff going on. It's nice and calm.
Well, hopefully nothing gets worse like a horror movie, and the flashing lights was just the start of it.
The minute I start hearing the words "get out" in my head, I'm out of here.
The glass breaks.
Yeah, even then, yeah.
Where's your kitty?
I got one kitty in here, Mr. Phillip, and he's behind the trash can asleep. Bill was here earlier, but he was making so much noise I let him out, and then the black one's upstairs.
I got a stinky kitty.
Yeah. They're all stinkies.
Look at this kitty. Look at this kitty. You're getting fat. Heavy. Ow, let go. She tries to get you. The falls hurt.
Yeah, I forget who it was that said it, but someone said they described a kitten as the cutest animal God ever made with stiletto blades for fingers.
Yeah, that's true. You been keeping up with the Mandalorian?
I think I'm 2 episodes behind, but I do have it upstairs in the Roku.
It's a decent watch, but
I like it.
It's the best. I mean, this season's been okay. It's not been terrible, but
there's been a few slow moments, I think. Yeah.
How's that dude do 2 shows? He's like, did you watch The Last of Us yet with him in it?
No, actually, he's all over the place. I mean, it's not just that; he's in like several other movies too. I mean, he must be one of the busiest actors in Hollywood.
The Last of Us has really good reviews. It's worth watching. But he's the main dude in that, and he's playing a character that's kind of a monster, but he's good at the same time. Kills the crap out of some crazy cult people in the zombie apocalypse. The best part is
zombie. I didn't know it was about zombies and all.
The best thing is when they filmed it, they weren't allowed to say zombies because it's based on the concept of fungi and plants. The fungus, like the zombies, are like weird mushrooms.
There's actually a creature like that in Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a myconid or something like that. It infests living creatures. It gets in the brain and it takes control of them.
That's how this is. It's based on an insect that does that. A wasp that does it to ants or something. There's something that really does it in nature.
There's a wasp that injects its eggs into the bodies of ants, and then when the eggs hatch, they eat the ant from the inside out.
That's what it's all based on. Somehow plants become zombie plants. Then it's plants versus zombies. No, it's just plants. Zombie plants. They're creepy though.
Plants vs. Zombies was a pretty cool game.
Yeah, I beat the first one. I never got around to the second one.
I didn't even know
They
they made it.
Yeah, they were kind of weird with its release. Just getting it was kind of weird. Like it didn't get on other systems or anything. It's just like on your phone or something. It's just kind of stupid. All the other ones are on everything. The first one's on everything.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think you put the second one on everything, but start doing microtransactions and all that crap. All that BS.
Mm-hmm.
You doing a show tonight with JoJo?
If he's doing a show, yeah, probably. I've been up since like 6 a.m. So, but I got a nice big mango coffee.
Where are you at work?
Yeah, I had to work. I went in at 10, but I set my alarm for like 8. I woke up at 6, and then was up for like an hour and a half, and then took like a power nap before going to work. So that was good.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. It was a busy day, but I was actually productive today, so that's even better.
How were you productive?
Well, I got nearly close to 300 pieces of conduit organized and put up in the overhead, or not in the overheads, but in the merchandising bay, and cleared out some space where they shouldn't have been, so someone else can use that space for other stock. So it was a good day.
Very nice. You don't work. You work on weekends?
Unfortunately, yeah, I'm work in retail, and I'm a supervisor, so I work almost every weekend. I get one weekend off every 4 weeks, but I work at least one day every weekend between that.
You're a manager now?
Basically, yeah, I manage the electrical and plumbing departments in my store.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you said a UFO, a rattlesnake, a UFO saved you from a rattlesnake. I know you told the story before, but
not a rattlesnake, a copperhead.
A copperhead. How? An alien came out and took the snake?
No. We were my brother and our 2 friends from my neighborhood were walking. It's kind of like a valley that was below high tension power lines. I mean, like, those big metal towers are like 300-400 feet tall. Yeah. We were walking under those on a trail. We walked a lot, like going into the woods. But at this point, we're in the open, and from under the yellowish, whitish brush, a copperhead came out, and then it stood up on its thing and just started hissing at me. And I had a big walking stick in front of me, so I put the stick in front of me and the snake. So if it decided to bite, it's going to hit the stick first. And I kind of did like this to my brothers, like, "Hey, you guys step back. There's a snake." And they didn't say anything. And then I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I'm like, "Step back. There's a snake." And they tapped me again, and I turn around, and they grabbed my head and pointed up. And there was most people see a silver disc. This was a bronze or gold colored disc. And it had a weird, like, hieroglyphic H-like symbol on it. And it wasn't spinning. It was just sitting there. And then it went straight up. And I turned around, and the snake went and darted off into the trees. And then we ran back home, scared like little kids, as we were.
How old were you?
I was probably 10.
What year? How old were you when you saw the Bigfoot?
Probably about 11, around the same time.
Huh. Very interesting. Very
The Bigfoot thing might have been later that same year or the following year. But I'll tell you this much, Bigfoot was a lot scarier than the UFO. A lot scarier.
I was reading something about Andy Coleman and talking crap about Lauren Coleman as usual.
About who?
Lauren Coleman.
Oh, I don't know.
Bigfoot guy. Been around forever. But trying to move Indra Cole from WV Point Pleasant and Charleston to Ashland, Kentucky. so Ashland can get the tourism. Just weird stuff like that. Very strange things. Very strange indeed. But Mandalorian's decent. I hope Boba Fett comes back and it's good. I liked it. I don't know why so many people hate it, Boba Fett.
I kind of liked it. I mean, I had been listening to and hearing rumors of, George Lucas doing live action TV show or shows when I was in college in the 90s. And, everybody was wanting it back then. And now here we have it. And now everyone's like, this sucks or that sucks about it. Go back 20 years when the rumors first started and think about if those shows as they are now came out back then. They'd have a whole different view on life, I would think. If you don't like the show, don't watch it. That's the simple thing.
Yeah.
But it's extra Star Wars content. I'm a Star Trek guy. I like Star Wars too, but it's more is better, right?
Did you ever watch Andor? I never got around to it.
I did. Yeah, I was pretty good. It's more, spoiler alert, if you've seen Rogue One, not a lot of people survive the movie. So Andor's kind of a little, intentionally darker, but, it's good. I enjoyed it.
I saw that the guy that made it wasn't really that into Star Wars. He did some spy movie, and then he did this, and he wasn't like a big Star Wars person, and he did the show anyway and made it.
Think of it like Winston Zeddemore from the Ghostbusters. If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe in anything. That's all you got to do to look at it. So he may not be a Star Wars guy, but there's a paycheck in it, and he's delivering. So
sure, and it's decent. I know it's got that Skarsgård dude in it. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's in it.
He's in Dune too.
He's played so far. He's played the most sinister Vladimir Harkonnen I've ever seen in a Dune movie. Can't wait for the part 2 to come out. I think it's.
To watch the first one again.
I think it's. Yeah, you should. It's good. I think the second one comes out this month.
I didn't hate it. I saw the first one. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't. I don't know. I have to watch it again. I don't think I was foaming at the mouth at it or anything.
Yeah, it's not real close to the book.
I'll tell you something that was completely disappointing. Willow, the show.
You didn't like Willow? I liked
Willow. The series. I love the movie. I'm talking about the series.
Yes, I saw the series. I loved it.
It was way too weird. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to hate on it, but the weird modern music in it, and then
the weird modern music and the homosexuality doesn't belong in that kind of a child's viewpoint.
And they had to throw the woke gay stuff in it, and I'm not someone that goes around talking about that crap all the time, but it was just annoying. It's like, what's next? Is Willow gonna like puff a puffer fish? I mean, what's going on here? I thought it could have been better.
I will agree with you that they're the because for me Willow was, I mean, what was it when it came out in theater? It was a PG-13, so you could be 13 or younger to go to it, or 13 or older to go to it by yourself. But it was a kids movie, not a whole lot of blood, not a whole lot of gore. Only a few people die here and there. All the bad guys you don't like want to survive, but typical Hollywood fare, and it's a children's.
There's kind of a spirit to it, though, that was different than the show. That was more
right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The original movie's it's a childish spirit to that movie. It's not, it's not porn. And then the TV show, they do throw in the homosexuality, which doesn't really belong. The kids don't need to know that unless that's, they are, they have homosexual parents. But
he's all gay in it. There's two chicks, right? I don't remember.
It was two chicks, but
was Willow up good gay?
It didn't belong in
my
box, and it didn't move the story in any direction either. It was just.
What happened to Willow's wife? She's dead.
Apparently, and he's in the original movie. He had two children, a boy and a girl. Rand was the boy, and it's not 100% certain whether he's dead too or he just ran off. I don't know.
Was Willow's wife died and he turned gay?
Don't know, but she isn't. She doesn't have a presence in the show.
I'm kidding.
Briefly talk about her.
Hey,
So
people want to be gay, that's their business. But
yeah,
if there's a smidge in it and something, no big deal for me. But some of these shows completely overdo it. Like I couldn't even watch all that Interview with the Vampire, and it had amazing reviews. But they had to get into this too much. But Louis a black dude, the guy from Game of Thrones. But in it, another black soldier dude copulates him when he's a vampire, like a human on vampire copulation scene, and it's just too much. I mean, sprinkle a little bit in it, fine, but come on, it's just a point where it's too much.
Yeah, but in almost any instance, doesn't matter what kind of movie it is, doesn't matter what kind of sexuality it is, homosexuality, heterosexuality, two guys on a girl, two girls on a guy, whatever. Those kind of events in almost any narrative format don't, unless the show is only about sex, that activity does not drive most of the plots forward. Doesn't help the movie become any more exciting. It doesn't make a
lot of them do it because they're trying to. They think it's going to get them more viewers, and it probably does.
They may be trying, hoping to get to draw in homosexual viewers, but you know what? If you make good entertainment from the beginning, you don't need to throw that crap in there, and you'll get the audience you want. You may not get all of the homosexual community. You may not get all the heterosexual community, but you'll get a community. Deal with it. I mean, all you got to do is
like
make good
The Last of Us had a scene with two gay men, and it was actually a very good episode. The only parts about it I didn't like when they were hair bearing each other in the bed. That was like I had to look away just about. Two hairy dudes in bed like during the apocalypse. But other than that, the episode was actually really well done. But it just depends. You gotta be classy with it. Willow, Interview with the Vampire. Like Willow was okay. It was just kind of disappointing a little bit. And it wasn't because it had lesbian chicks in it or whatever. It was just, I think that modern music thing, it's like, what? I didn't understand that. It's like, why are we listening to a modern song from our modern age in a fantasy thing?
Yeah, I mean, but
you're gonna throw me for a loop.
For the most part, most of the songs they did, they made it hard to recognize them because they were done by like a cover group or cover band. But it didn't I didn't understand that either. There wasn't anything like that in the original, it wasn't, and we're not looking at this like, A Knight's Tale where it was kind of a parody of the jousting age, and you have all these, medieval people, dancing to Queen and doing the wave in the audience as like, football stadium, that's a parody. That was kind of funny, and the futuristic music made kind of sense for that comedic movie. But it's not. We're not making a comedy here. We're making a child's fantasy story with modern music, and some of the modern music they chose wasn't all that good anyway.
Yeah. That's stupid. And then the way some of the characters talk was just kind of annoying. Some of them, but Christian Slater was in it. He was only in it for an episode.
2 episodes.
Was it 2?
Yeah, he makes a couple. He makes a couple of.
He croaked.
He reemerges in some of the recaps at the beginning of the shows. I'll tell you the guy that I liked, besides just the character of Willow, who I think I've always liked Warwick Davis. I don't know the actor's name, but the actor who plays the bully, Peter Parker's bully. He's the same guy that plays Peter Parker's bully, Flash Thompson, in the new Spider-Man movies. I like that actor. I like his character in this Willow.
I'm trying to figure out who that is.
He's the Hispanic-looking guy with dark skin.
Oh, that's the dude that's in all the M. Night Shyamalan things.
Oh, I don't know. I've only seen him in the Spider-Man movies so far.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of M. Night Shyamalan stuff. He's in that show Servant, which is by M. Night Shyamalan. And that new Knock at the Cabin, whatever apocalypse movie by M. Night Shyamalan, that comes on Peacock today for free.
Mm.
Yeah, Peacock. You can stream
I got it. Yeah.
Cocaine Bear's coming.
Huh?
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear.
It's about a true story about a bear that goes crazy and eats cocaine and goes crazy. It's a true story. I'm sure they over glamorize it in the movie.
So the bear requires cocaine, so he goes on a frenzy, kills people, and then steals their cocaine.
It gets the cocaine first and then kills people.
It's
Cocaine Bear. But it was Ray Liotta's last movie.
Did he die?
Yeah, Ray Liotta's dead.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a shame. I kind of liked him as an actor too.
Yeah, he was creepy when he got older.
Yeah, he was kind of a hard boozing, cigarette smoking dude, but he did play a good bad guy, kind of repeatedly.
Yeah, he was in a lot of mafia stuff. But yeah, he died. That dude, what was his name? Lance Riddick? The black guy that died recently that was in a bunch of stuff. Lance Riddick, yeah. The bald black guy with glasses. He's always like a weird character. He's in John Wick. He's in that show Fringe. Fringe.
Oh, the tall bald dude.
Yeah. He was in some video game a lot that he actually went and played with the community and got involved. Destiny, I don't play it, but he was a character in it, some alien that was real popular. And they said he had just Wednesday night had logged on and played and talked to all his. He has fans on there and stuff. He died from natural causes at 60.
Oh.
But they were just talking about it. Lance. Reddick. Reddick. He's also Papa Legba in that show American Horror Story. He's a good actor.
Yeah, I liked him too. Yeah.
That's
a shame.
60 and apparently had logged into the video game that night and said hello to his fans and played some with them and then died the next day.
Wow.
Definitely, for sure. You've seen all the John Wicks. They're supposed to do a TV show based on that called The Continental on Stars or something.
Yeah, I saw the previews for that. No, I haven't seen the number 4. It just at the theater, or it's about to just at the theater, something like that.
Yeah. And
that's the last one I got to see. I've seen the other 3.
I've seen them. They're good, but there's a lot. The gun stuff's like, my God, it's a lot of gunning, a lot of guns, a lot of shooting. Sometimes that makes me nauseous. But I'll still watch it. What's that?
Oh, it's just my phone making noise. I thought I turned all the volume down.
Yeah. Let's see who's coming up. Coming up with guests.
You got quite a few coming.
Robin Trish McGregor, that's next week. Don Webb. It's April 7th on his Wizard book. April 14th, Beazle on his book. April 21st, Ronnie Pontiac. It's like some singer dude, like rock singer dude that wrote a book on American religion or something. And then, yeah, I got
his book.
He's got like 80s hair. Search him out. It looks like he's in an 80s band. But April 28th, James Alcalon. That dude makes a lot of horror books. He did a Universal Horrors Unleashed with a bunch of different authors. Al going back, Joe R. Lansdale. And then he just came out with a Shakespeare Unleashed with all these authors doing Shakespeare stories. He also put out a Kolchak comic book, that Night Stalker, the
Kolchak the Night Stalker. Love that.
Yeah, he's into that big time. So I talk about that. I'm sure he knows a lot about horror. And then May 5th, Barbara DeLong and Ken Gosworth, they have Beyond Roswell, or Before Roswell, about UFO stuff before Roswell events and stuff. And Wallace Wagner, May 12th, Teresa Dorsey May, the 19th, Robert Sullivan, that's Freemason stuff and horror movies. Then when you come back in June, Samuel Chong is a man, I believe he's Chinese, that claims he was taken to an alien planet, the Theobia prophecy or something like that.
Cool.
And Corey Hutchinson is North American folklore. That's June 9th, and I'm still scheduling. I'm scheduling for June.
Yeah, good lineup though. I mean, geez.
I keep it weird, keep it unique. Try to get stuff other shows don't get. Sometimes it might overlap, but rarely. I've been pulling in guests that I haven't seen on any other shows on here on the network. So I would rather have a unique guest for a unique subject than a star effer guest that everyone has on all the time. You know, I'd rather have somebody that's unique and different that no one's heard of, or people have heard of but they haven't, than some guest that's, you know, on every fart show all
unique
the time.
guest with unique subject matter. Remember that interview?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, Cliff
I
Dunning.
don't know if I want to remember. Are you reading it right now?
No, but you know, now that I got a girlfriend, I might need to.
Yeah, put your prostate on
Yep.
with a pizza slice.
She does like pizza. Yeah.
Got a girlfriend. I don't think you've had a girlfriend the whole time I've ever known you. It's been a while, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I did have a girlfriend that was in Georgia, but that was. Oh no, that was actually before the show. So yeah, no, nothing. I came on the show 2014, and she was gone by 2012. So yeah, it's been a while.
She meets you at Home Depot.
No, we had a couple mutual friends on Facebook. Like her cousin is friends with my cousin.
Is she your cousin? I'm kidding.
I don't know, but yeah, I might need to find that out.
Might be some Game of Thrones going on.
Yeah, there's definitely no. I can tell you this much: there's no West Virginia going on.
West Virginia. I didn't
know
know they
West
did
Virginia
that.
happening over. Yeah,
I didn't know they did that in West Virginia. I know they're in Alabama.
My
Sometimes
sister's
I hear
my
they do.
wife and my sister-in-law. You know that kind of stuff. No.
Yeah. Well, good for you. Good for you. But that North show, the dude did a meditation, and I fell asleep almost during it. But I didn't. And he did this whole sitting by the world tree and all this stuff, and I had to close my eyes and walked you through a Norse Viking meditation. I didn't fall asleep, but I was like, I didn't want to open my eyes back up. I wanted to stay at the Norse tree.
Yeah.
not come back. No, I'm kidding. The Norse tree is always there. But so what's up? What else you been watching?
I've been catching up on a lot of the old Ancient Alien things, TV shows, but I found a show on, I think it's on Disney, and it's a revamp of an older show. There was a show, I think it was on National Geographic Channel called History's Greatest Mysteries, and I think this is a revamp of that. And they've got Lawrence Fishburne, and they did a 4-part series on Roswell, where they had like a CIA guy, former CIA guy, do like a full, professional investigation from everything from the first witness, from Jesse Marcel, all the way to like third-party witnesses who didn't actually see any of the debris or weren't there for the crash, but heard the stories from previous family members. He went all out. I've got to go back and watch the 4th one of that because I fell asleep on it in the middle of the night. But that, if you haven't seen that, History's Greatest Mysteries, there's a Roswell 4-part in the first season. You got to look at that. It's got some good stuff in it.
And it's on Roswell. I mean, it's on Disney.
It's on Disney, but it's not just Roswell. There's 4 episodes that are on Roswell in the first season. I think it's 8 episodes per season.
What's it called?
History's Greatest Mysteries.
Okay. Did you ever see that weird Disney UFO documentary they put out a million years ago?
I'm not sure. Probably I might have. I've seen almost all of them, at
There's
least
a
a
weird
couple dozen
old
times
one.
each.
There's a weird old one.
So a lot of weird old ones actually. Rod Serling's old one was pretty freaky.
I'll send it to you. It's old and weird from Disney. A Lost Walt Disney UFO documentary that's really old.
Okay, cool.
It's on YouTube.
There's a lot of stuff that is on YouTube and a lot of stuff that I wish was.
Yeah, just depends. I'll send it to you now, but it's a weird one worth checking out. I need to figure out a way to copy it. So there's a way to download those things.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And, what?
Yeah, I think I have seen that one. Yeah.
It's an oldie.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out later. Yeah, that because I can throw that on my TV upstairs. I can watch YouTube on that one.
Like, not to get back on this subject, but I just saw this in the news. It's weird now how Microsoft and all these news places, comic book stuff is news. But here's one. Marvel's queer Captain America lands his own solo comic. It's like, I'm confused. Because
Didn't Captain America already have his own comic? Or is this a new Captain America?
He's
a
new
Captain America and they have gay Captain America? Is that what it is?
I guess there's a regular Captain America and then there's a gay Captain America. It's just a point where it goes a little too far, but I'm just laughing at it mostly, you know. It's just crazy. Crazy. I'd like to see what's going to happen when the regular Captain America meets the gay Captain America.
Yeah, they're going to fall in love with each other and go get married and have kids.
Maybe. Right. Who knows? But I won't be purchasing that one. I'll tell you that much.
I can see the graphic novel now. Captain America now pregnant. Bye, Captain America.
I had trouble getting the gay Superman comic that came out with his son. It's actually supposed to be pretty good, but in it he's bisexual and he has like this gay pink-haired emo lover dude. It's like they're just going a little too far. You know, if you're gonna put a little bit in there, fine, but if you're gonna turn in whole characters and making clones of famous characters, like, okay, we have Captain America, he's very famous, but we need to clone him and make his clone gay for Gay Pride Week. It's like that'll get lots of readers. I'm just trying to understand the mentality. You know, it's just weird. It's real life. There's obviously, you know, people are gay. If you're gonna put a little bit in there, fine. But I'm just saying that point is they're overdoing it.
Oh yeah,
like
I totally agree.
They're milking it.
Agree.
It's like Disney milking Star Wars.
Oh well, yeah, they are, but more Star Wars content is better than none.
Yeah. I don't even know. Oh, wait, what did I just? Okay. Oh, did you see the weird episode with the cloning guy who got brainwashed for the Republic that used to work for Darth Gideon? The guy that cloned was trying to mess with Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I think so.
That episode, the newest, it's one of the, not the newest, but a few episodes back.
Yeah,
and they go to that
2 episodes away, I think.
They go to that big Star Destroyer for his lab, and the girl sets him up.
Yeah.
And he goes and gets zapped. What was that all about?
I don't know.
It's like a whole weird. What was the point of that? Like, is that guy just like brain dead now, or she kind of set him up? Like he was trying to do good and stuff, and she kind of like tricked him, and then they went to go zap his brain with the mind flayer or whatever, and then she turned it up more to a point to where it could have, you know, made him a vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I don't know. It reminded me of a scene in a Star Trek show where they had a similar machine on Captain Kirk, but yeah, like I said, I think I'm 1 episode or 2 episodes behind everyone else. They're up, so I can go watch them right now. But they're I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, there's some developments with Baby Yoda. They show some of his past when they tried to kill him in the thing and all that. When Reed escaped, when he was in the thing with all the Jedis and stuff.
And he's been talking more too.
And then he's with the Mandalorians now, so something weird happened with Baby Yoda. This isn't that big of a plot development, but I'll just say it briefly. Seems like they're going to turn Baby Yoda into a Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking the other night when he like Mando got he drowned him. He almost drowned in the water under the mines, and what's her name saved him. And the Baby Yoda was like standing on his pauldrons, waiting for him to wake up. I'm like, I'm wondering if we're gonna see that big Mandalorian armor and all.
Baby Yoda in Mandalorian armor seems like kind of weird. Like you won't even be able to see his face anymore ever again because of their rules. Like I don't. He has to wear the helmet, so I wonder how they're going to do that.
I don't know if their rules apply to people that are outside of their race. I don't know.
They're letting him in.
Seems like it, yeah.
They did. They did.
Well, then they let what's her name back in because they both were bathed in those mystical waters under the mines.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just wondering if they're going to put a helmet on Baby Yoda. Mandalorian.
I don't know how that's going to work though. I mean, he's only going to grow. He's going to be that big. When he's full grown.
I don't see how they probably will, but that'd be weird if he has to wear it all the time. Here's a whole article. Will Grogu get a Mandalorian helmet and armor?
Yeah. I think so, but I mean, I don't know if it's going to work. And I guarantee you he's probably not going to keep it on all the time either.
Yeah, he'll be kicked out in like a day.
Like I said, I don't know if their rules apply to someone who's inducted into their ways that's, not Mandalorian. You know what I mean? Because he's a different species. So that helmet on, helmet off thing may not apply to him.
And why would you cover up the Baby Yoda? That's the big money grabber for the show. Cute Baby Yoda.
Yeah, and you got a guy who can, like, with his force powers, he can stop a bolt of laser power in midair. Probably easier than that idiot Kylo Ren, so he doesn't need the armor.
For sure. I'm waiting to hear more about this Fantastic Four show. I'm really hoping it's good. A movie because they
Fantastic Four TV show.
A movie's coming, I think.
Oh,
I
think they're doing another reboot.
They've torched it so many times. That one movie was terrible, and then there's a bunch of old weird movies that suck. There's an old movie that's not that great by Roger Corman that's Fantastic Four.
I think I've seen that one.
I remember reading Fantastic Four when I was a kid, getting it at Kroger. The Thing. That's who I like. The Thing. The orange guy. There's a lot of comics where he fights the Hulk.
Yeah, they get into a lot of fight.
Yeah, they're constantly getting in fights. Jojo, don't be a hero. Are you doing a show tonight? Jojo, don't be a hero. I'm tired.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, I got up around 6, so.
It's some kind of booster or something. Everything's just so weird. Everything is
25.
Just... What now? 2025. Did you just freeze? He just froze. It just completely froze. The ghost got him again. Luckily, we don't have that much time left, so if he doesn't come back, I guess I'll be ending a little short. Are you still there? You froze. There you go.
I'm here.
You froze for a while.
Yeah. Sometimes it happens. My computer's kind of slow.
It's a ghost.
Huh. They don't even for that 54 movie you're talking about. It's just slated for 2025. The Fantastic Four, yeah. No actor board yet.
I can't believe they screwed up Morbius. I didn't even watch it. I heard it was so terrible. I'll watch it one year. Morbius, the living vampire, from Spider-Man
Yep.
and all that.
Yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Jared Leto, the guy that played the crappy Joker in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I was about to say the bad Joker guy.
He's actually a decent actor. He's a Capricorn, born same day as me. But man, he screwed up that Joker. That Joker sucked.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Plus, he had braces or grilled teeth or whatever on.
It's like rapper Joker.
Yeah.
Thug Joker.
Ghetto Joker with the silver, grills for his teeth.
Just looks stupid. Looks stupid. Stupid.
Yeah, it did.
Morbius sucked. I heard it was terrible.
Never really was into the character, so I didn't have any plans to see the show. If it comes up on, streaming for free, I might look at it, but I'm not going to pay money for it.
It's on Netflix.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah. What about those Venom movies? The first one was horrible too, but it did good. And I like Tom Hardy.
Yeah. It was okay. Yeah, I liked it though.
I didn't see the second one with Woody Harrelson. Hopefully that one's a little better, but I don't think it is.
Well, it's got Carnage in it, and Woody Harrelson's pretty good. I mean, he's been in a lot of great movies lately.
Yeah. Sony's messing up these movies. They messed up Venom. They messed up Morbius. Sony's who's making them.
Well, it's not so much. It may not be necessarily the studio's fault, but it probably is. The problem isn't that they're ruining it. The problem is that they're getting a hold of these properties and then rushing them through pre and production and post-production, the 3 phases of filmmaking. If they would take their damn time, slow down, pay, maybe you might lose a little money before you spend any money, but take some money out of the bank and bankroll a couple of good writers and have that, get it. You have to have a good script. You have to have a good plan, and that all comes in pre-production. And then for production, if you get the right actors, and even if you get unknown actors, Star Wars, you can make something happen. But they're pushing stuff through the lens so fast, they're not able to make anything that sticks to the wall.
Yeah, they just kind of suck. They need to quit it.
It does. I mean, if you go to any of these streaming services, especially the freebies, Vubu and Hoblob and Boo, just pick one. Pluto, doesn't matter which one, and then just go to movies. Pick a genre, drama, science fiction, and then scroll through it. You'll see some movies that they look like something you'd want to watch. Transformers, superhero type stuff, and then you go and watch it, and it is the worst schlock ever. But it was just produced the same time in the same year as there are literally Transformers like movies on these free streaming services that were made the same year as the Transformers. You got transforming robots killing humans, and they're terrible. They just don't understand what Hollywood is doing.
They're stupid. They just use up crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're out of good ideas, so they keep doing the same story over and over and over and over.
Yep, that's what they do. They're idiots. They're stupid.
Yeah, you
Why
can't.
Why are they so stupid?
You can't fix stupid.
Very stupid.
Mm-hmm.
What are we gonna do? We might watch that M. Night Shyamalan movie coming out.
I have some, good bit of his movies. That one he did, Signs. Of all of his movies, that's really the only one that freaked me out.
Yeah, that was a good one. Sixth Sense was good too.
Especially when that one alien goes and walks across the kid's video camera at the birthday party in Guatemala or something. That really makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
And then it had Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix in it. So,
Yep.
So that's always good team up. Mm-hmm. I know Joaquin Phoenix is supposed to be in a Napoleon movie.
Napoleon is in Napoleon Bonaparte, or Napoleon is in Napoleon Dynamite?
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Okay. He's also going to be in a second version of Joker.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Ugh.
We'll just have to wait and see. The thing is with people who are good at what they already do, either suck moving into another aspect of entertainment, or they're better than their original form. So either she's going to be a better actress than she is of a singer, or she's going to suck and the movie's going to go down with her.
Yeah,
It's just the way it is. Historically, that's happened in Hollywood.
The guy that made that movie Joker did this crazy movie about Gigi Allen, this crazy punk rock guy that was real, that would get crazy on stage and eat his own poop and cut himself up with glass. He did a documentary called Hated on that guy. And now he does these Joker movies. He does some other stuff, but I saw that when I was younger with some friends. It was like the craziest. I didn't even really like that music too much, but it was just like, I don't know, it was gross. Like this crazy dude. And they would even do each other on stage, like man on man, weird stuff. Like it was this crazy punk band that was just insane. Like sick. Almost seemed possessed. It probably was.
A movie about someone eating his own poo while singing is just not appealing.
Yeah, and doing his friends on the gooch. Something ain't right.
Yeah.
But that's the guy that did the Joker movie. He made that documentary, Hate It. You want to throw up? Watch it sometime.
No, I'm good, thank you. I think I'll pass.
Yeah. Gigi Allen and the Murder Junkies. That was the band. And they were probably hardcore junkies for sure.
Yeah.
And that was like a legend of punk rock, like a crazy dark side of punk rock. Crazy. You get crazy. Well, I wonder if you're doing a show. You don't know?
I think we probably are. He said he has guests this week, so I don't know if he's going to have room for everybody. But we'll see. He'll send me a link or he won't.
Yeah. But man, 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to turn my camera off so I can have a cigarette, but I will still be here.
Yeah, well, I'm about to end anyway, so we can. I've been having some kidney stone stuff, so.
Oh yeah. Oh God, those things suck.
Yeah. Had it for a while. It's like, what do I got to do to get rid of this crap?
Do you like lemonade?
Yeah, I like lemonade.
Get yourself a gallon and drink a good glass of it every day, and keep doing it it'll help. Honestly, it helps burn those things away. If you increase your pH in your kidneys, you'll burn them away.
Yeah, I will definitely check it out for sure.
I drink a couple of gallons of lemonade a week.
Is that little dumb yellow thing been there the whole time for that other show? I changed it earlier, and someone changed it back. It's like.
Oh yeah, I was wondering why you had the why you had that.
I had originally changed it to ours, and then suddenly it's like other people did a show and it changed it back. Like it doesn't do it individual; it does it for everything.
Yeah,
when they change it.
Emily will be happy we advertised for her.
Ugh. Anyway, I don't know her, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. Everybody kind of nice. Yeah. I thought she waved guns on air and had some weird right-wing extremism.
No, so far the only one who's waved guns around is Joe.
Oh, so it's Joe who did that. I heard something about waving a gun around.
Yeah, every once in a while he'll take Martha out of the holster and show her off to the audience.
Oh my gosh. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your guns. You're not going to get your guns from my cold hands. You'll have to take them out of my cold, dead hands before you get these guns. These mammy jammies, these guns. You'll have to rip them out of my dead hands. I don't even like guns, but I have a few in case I have to do it.
Hey, when the zombie apocalypse really does happen, you'll be glad you had them.
I reckon.
Yep.
I reckon. When the Trumpagooch Civil War happens.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. They didn't get arrested. That was just them riling everybody up, I'm sure. All right, everybody. Have a good weekend. See you with Rob and Trish McGregor. The shift and synchronicity. Everybody have a good weekend. Good night, everybody.
Good night.